You're about to listen to a Good Pod Guide review of Reply All. It was only a little while ago that I recorded my thoughts and I was enthusiastic. But I was so young back then, so naive. What did I know? So before you listen to this review, which, to be fair, I still stand by, Reply All is excellent content, I do just want to address the potential elephant in the room. Since my review was recorded, Reply All has been embroiled in a bit of a scandal, where key members of their team, PJ included, who you're about to hear me tell you that I love, didn't support an effort to unionize at the company Gimlet that produces the podcast. This unionizing was an effort to ensure fairer pay and fairer working environment for minority employees. And it did end up going ahead back in 2018, I think it was. But PJ and others have come under fire for not supporting the movement at the time. And he has subsequently stepped away from Reply All. Since all this happened in 2018, the company was bought by Spotify. And I believe that they are all working together to establish the future of the podcast from here. I just wanted you to be up to date before you listen to my review, and also for you to know that I know what I'm talking about too. Anyway, here were my thoughts on Reply All. So I put a call out on Twitter for people to come and recommend their favourite podcasts. And two separate people, both of whose opinion I greatly respect, suggested Reply All. And not only that, but they both, without consulting the other, told me the same 2 episodes that I had to listen to start off with. I've investigated, I've listened to them, I've well and truly fallen down the rabbit hole, and I cannot recommend this podcast to you highly enough. As things stand, I think this might actually be my favourite podcast. I've said it. I've planted my flag there. I think this might be my favourite podcast. So one person actually told me they were jealous that I got to listen to it for the first time again. And now I'm saying that to you. If you haven't heard it, I am jealous of you. It started in 2014. It's basically about quirky internet culture, but don't let that put you off, because I'm not techie at all. And I just thought I wouldn't enjoy it. But it is so good. They release episodes every 3 weeks. And of the 200 odd episodes, I'm going to tell you what my friends told me. Start with episode 130, The Snapchat Thief, and then move on to the long distance episodes, which are 102, 103, and 164. We'll put that all in the show notes for you. I'm going to give you a quick breakdown of each of those while sort of avoiding major spoilers. So the Snapchat Thief is where one of the listeners messages in because their Snapchat has been infiltrated. They've changed her password and her phone number associated with the account, so she's completely locked out. And she wanted to know why this had happened. And also she started to get some really aggressive messages from the person who'd done it. So she wanted to know if it was someone she knew or how this can actually happen. So the presenters of this podcast went all out to try and work out what had gone on, did a huge amount of research into hacking and why people hack things, and in the end sort of wormed their way into the chat room of a hacking gang and sort of followed their progress. I was so enthralled with it. I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe the level of investigation that they had gone to try and crack what had gone on here. So then in the long distance episodes, one of the presenters gets a call from a New Delhi call center with a scam, where basically they want to tell him that there's a virus on his computer and he has to pay a certain amount for virus protection when actually there's no virus. So as part of this scam, they ask for remote access to your desktop and they connect to your computer and then they fiddle about a bit and they go, oh yeah, we found the virus, and they charge you this money. So he just got so into this. Obviously he didn't give them any money, but he started to investigate the individuals who worked at the company, the scammers, the people, started to get to know them. He called the call center daily just to have chats with them and see how they were doing. And they all got to know his name and the sound of his voice. So in the end, they stopped taking his calls. They would just hang up as soon as they realized it was him. But to get their attention, again, they had this idea that was just so genius. He called up with a fake name, went through the whole rigmarole sort of process of pretending that he had this virus and he needed their advice. And then when they logged into his computer, he had saved his desktop background to be a Facebook picture of one of the employees there. Honestly, absolute genius moment. He ends up flying out to New Delhi to continue the investigation, to try and meet with the people. Like, it is such a roller coaster journey. If you like those, I highly recommend you move on to the case of the missing hit as well, which is episode 158. And that at the time got a huge amount of press coverage. It's just so good. So it's presented by three guys, Alex, PJ, and Emmanuel. The format is where one of them is telling the story to the other. And I just love it. That sort of storytelling. The other person gets to ask questions and chip in and clarify points. So you just all feel like you're on this journey together. It is truly the greatest use of podcasts and the best example of storytelling I've come across. I don't know if I've already mentioned this or if this has maybe come across, but I absolutely love it. I'm not sure if they do merch, but if they do, I'm almost certainly going to splash out. In the next episode, you can hear me attempt to replicate the sinister American accent of the narrator of The Dating Game Killer. You can get more info on the show online at www.goodpodguide.com and follow us at goodpodguide on Instagram and Twitter.